Hi everyone, it's Editing Kaala here, and I just wanted to let you know that the video you're about to watch was actually recorded over a year ago, but because of life and other things, I never got around to releasing it. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this video about slime. Bye! Hi, it's Kaala, and today we're going to be talking about slime. I know I'm super late to the game, but I thought it would be fun to talk about an actual science experiment that was a trend and was really popular pretty recently. I mean, we saw slime everywhere. Department stores were running out of school glue, and they were making them in huge gallons, which I didn't even know they made. Some stores were even setting up like slime stations where you could go to the actual store and make slime. They had all the things you needed, like the glue and the activators and different things you could add, like glitter and phloem and just whatever you wanted to create these cool slime creations. There were slime tutorials popping up all over YouTube. My personal favorites were the ones that had show tunes. Nickelodeon even came out with their own slime kits that they were selling in stores. So, what is slime? Just like its cousin oobleck, it's a non-Newtonian fluid and a polymer. Just for a quick review, a non-Newtonian fluid is a substance that doesn't behave like a solid, liquid, or gas. It's kind of like somewhere in between a solid and a liquid, and it just depends what kind of forces are applied to it. Polymers are long chains of identical molecules that are all linked together. If you want to learn more about non-Newtonian fluids and polymers, be sure to check out my oobleck video, which I'm linking in the description down below. The polymers in slime are composed of polyvinyl acetate, or PVA. In glue, the chains of PVA slide back and forth really easily, which is why glue is runny. But when you add an activator to it, in this case contact solution, it doesn't slide as much, and so the chains will start to connect together with other nearby chains, and this process is called cross-linking. So you can kind of think of cross-linking like when you cook spaghetti, and when it's fresh, it's coming apart really easily, but then if you put it in a Tupperware and put it in the fridge, you have leftovers the next day, they kind of all clump together. They're harder to separate. You can kind of think of cross-linking as being like that chemical reaction that happens that causes everything to kind of clump together. Let's talk a little bit about the activator that makes this reaction happen. So in slime, we have contact solution which contains boric acid. Boron is a chemical with the symbol B, and you can find it on the periodic table as the fifth element. You can use anything that comes from the boron family, like borax or saline solution, liquid starch, laundry detergent, something like it. So when the contact solution is added to the glue, it starts the cross-linking process to form slime. The cross-linking changes the viscosity of the substance, or the flow of it. It makes it thicker because all of the chains of molecules are sticking together. Theoretically, when you add more of the activator, there will be more cross-linking occurring, and so you'll get a thicker slime. So this is kind of like the basic science behind slime. I actually want to try it out today. I found a recipe online, but I kind of cut the recipe in half because I don't have everything that I need, but we're gonna try our best. To create the traditional slime recipe, you need glue. So I have here a bowl to mix everything in. I have my glue, which is just regular school glue. Just gonna pour the whole thing in here. See how it's like really, really runny? This is the PVA in this glue. So it's very, very runny. Oh, I'm actually glad I cut this recipe in half because this is a lot. I'm gonna fill this with some water real quick. BRB. Okay. So we have our school glue with equal parts water. Very, very runny, very watery. Okay, we need a 1/4 teaspoon baking soda. Mix in some food coloring. I don't know what color I want. Let's see what this recommends. Ooh. They've got some interesting colors on here. I think I'm going to go with orchid. That sounds pretty. So, just a few drops. It doesn't take very much. So I added 3 drops of red and 1 drop of blue. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. I don't know if it's orchid. Well, it's kind of like a dark purple. And mix in a half tablespoon of saline solution. Okay, so this is what has the boric acid in it, which will cause our chemical reaction to happen. Ooh, I'm excited. I've never actually made this before. I'm really excited to see how it turns out. Okay, so right now, yeah, it's getting a little thicker. It could be even thicker than this. Let's see what happens when I add more of the contact solution. I feel like I've created slime soup. Ooh, actually, wait. I think it's getting there. I think it just needs more of the activator, because it's starting to like get kind of stringy and weird. I think the issue here is maybe the contact solution that I got wasn't the best. I was feeling a little bit like nervous when I was at the store because there were a lot of people walking by, and there was this one person who was like standing right by the place I needed to and just kept standing there. And so I didn't want to be like, oh, excuse me. And like eventually I did, but then I don't know if I grabbed the correct thing. I think we're gonna be okay. A little bit more because it's not quite the consistency I want. So this is a good lesson here. As we add more activator, in this case the contact solution, it changes the viscosity or the thickness and the flow of the solution that you're making. So as I'm adding more of the contact solution, it's starting to get thicker and less soupy. Yeah, this is pretty similar to the oobleck that I made earlier, except it's, of course, slimier and not as hard to like knead through as oobleck was. I don't know if the camera will be able to do this justice. So it just takes a little patience and a lot more contact solution than what you think. So I will put the recipe that I used in the description down below, but I would really encourage you to just mess with it and see what makes you happy, because I ended up using a lot more of the contact solution than I had anticipated, but the results are great. I wish I had actually measured how much I was pouring in. My guess was, I don't know, maybe might have been 2 or 3 tablespoons. Or yeah, maybe even more than that, I'm not sure. Next time I will do that, just to kind of compare, because we saw what it's like when we add more of the activator. I wanted to try an experiment where we would see what slime is like without having an activator. And the way that I want to do that is by using something that's very dear to my heart, and that is the Nickelodeon slime recipe. Okay, so let me just clean up a little bit and then we'll dig into some Nickelodeon slime. Alright friends, we are back. Yes, this recipe was posted online a while ago, and I'm so excited to make this. I'd see all the different shows and they'd have this really thick looking slime. I always wondered what was in it, and so now we get to see it. And actually what's pretty interesting is it's edible. I would see people that would get slime and they'd be licking it off of themselves. I'm like, oh, what is in that? Can you eat that? Yes, you can. So let's dig in. I have here a half cup of oatmeal, which is cooked. The recipe didn't say if I needed to cook it or not, but just in case, I did cook it. 3/4 cup of applesauce, 1 cup of vanilla pudding. These cups of pudding are like a little bit more than 3 ounces. So, oh, I do have 3 of these. Yeah, this is gonna be a little bit over a cup of the vanilla pudding, but that's all right. Wow, this is really full. Okay, this looks pretty nasty right now. Hard to believe people were slimed with this, because it's pretty thick. Maybe I shouldn't have cooked the oatmeal. So I've mixed it up a little bit. Let me put some food coloring in this, because this kind of looks like... So I put 3 drops of green food coloring. I don't know why, but when I saw the recipe and they asked for oatmeal, it didn't say cooked or uncooked. It just said, you need oatmeal. And so I was thinking, okay, well, you probably cook it, because if people are eating it off their hands, you don't want to like be eating raw oatmeal. But I don't know. This is starting to look a little better, but let me add more food coloring, because It looks like a shamrock shake went wrong. Well, if there's one thing I've learned from today, things on TV are much more glamorous than if you try to do it at home. It's not gonna be quite the same. But that's okay. It's fun to get to do something like this. Like, I never thought I'd get to know what's in the Nickelodeon slime. This is definitely not like the same as the other slime that we made. Because it doesn't have an activator, there's no cross-linking that's happening in this type of slime. This is just purely for fun. And it smells good. It smells like vanilla pudding. Would I eat this? Probably not. So I'm glad that I cut the recipe in half because this filled up the entire container. We have here is this really thick oatmeal-y stuff that, I don't know, gets poured over everybody at all the Kids' Choice Awards and things, and it's pretty gross looking, but at least it's edible. So if you get some in your mouth, it's not gonna be the end of the world. But yeah, I probably wouldn't eat this. I will be happy with my 1 cup of vanilla pudding that's left and all of this applesauce that will last me for a good while. So we have that, we have our, ooh! It's thicker now. We have our slime. If you just let it sit for a while, it gets so much more viscous. So as part of this show, I wanted to include like science fun facts or other things that I've seen in the news. And so I decided that I wanted to do something that was a little bit more personal this time. As some of you know, I graduated last year. I am now working on the manuscript to publish the work that I did. It's a kind of a long and involved process. I feel like I can create an entire video just talking about the process of trying to publish in a scientific journal. And I think that I will do that because it deserves its own time to shine, because this is something that you don't really hear about too much for scientists, is that they have to go through this process to publish and what it's like and how much rejection you face and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna create an entire video just dedicated to that so I can explain that for those of you who aren't familiar with the process. I did want to at least share that I'm on that journey right now, and it's very stressful. I am determined to get my work published so that it can be shared with everybody. Because that's the goal, right? Is that you ask these questions and you try to find an answer and you can share that answer with other people. And I think especially with what's going on right now, people don't realize how long it actually takes for the work that you do to actually get published and be shareable with other people. I can't really even tell you what I'm working on until it's published. I have set that goal to publish, or at least get the manuscript in a publishable format this year. And so I have here a daruma doll, which comes from Japanese culture, and it's something that people use to set a goal. What you do is these come usually with the eyes not filled in, and when you set the goal for yourself, you fill in the left eye, and then when you've completed the goal, you fill in the right eye. What's special about this one is that this is a white daruma doll, which represents like exam success, among other things, but that's what it's typically known for. And so I thought that that would be the most appropriate color to use to represent my journey and what I'm going through right now. Because it's not exactly an exam, but it is a lot of people reviewing your work. So it's kind of like an exam. I set my goal, so I filled in the left eye. I keep it here at my desk to remind me of my goal that I want to complete. I'm really excited and nervous. It's gonna be a great journey and a great experience. I just wanted to share that with you all and to let you know that even though I graduated, the work is not done yet. And that's pretty typical. This is all I have for you today. Just as a refresher, we've got slime that has a non-Newtonian fluid with polymers, and when you add the activator, which in this case comes from the boron family, it causes a cross-linking chemical reaction which makes slime, and it turns into this very viscous, thick material. And then just for my own nostalgia, I made some Nickelodeon slime. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that your next steps in your journey is fun and exciting, and even if it's challenging, I hope it's challenging in the best way for you. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe and hit the alert so you can stay up to date on all things me, all things science and theater, and anything else because I do too much. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye!